Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command World War I, the newest Strategic Command game out by Fury Software. We are playing this game, this is actually episode number 7, I believe, of our Entente Let's Play, which means we're playing as the Allies. And in our last episode, something really interesting happened. The Italians were bought off by the Austro-Hungarians. So the game triggered an event where the Austro-Hungarians have to make a decision on whether they want to sort of refuse to give up some historical territory that Italy claims and wants from them, or whether they want to keep that territory. So essentially, if you play on the Central Power side, there's a script that runs that gives the player the choice of either sacrificing some key territory, which will greatly please the Italians, and in many cases allow the Italians to join the war on the side of the Central Powers, or keep that territory for Austria-Hungary, but in so doing, angering Italy and likely driving Italy into the hands of the Allies. You know, this is sort of a decision that the Austrians had to make historically on whether they wanted to give this territory up. Wasn't really presented to them as a demand, but if the Austro-Hungarians had gone to the Italians and said, we're going to give you this territory, you know, the reason for war between Italy and Austria-Hungary would have gone away. These countries were technically allied at the start of the war, but they had this major territorial dispute. Italy did have some claims on some territory in France as well, but it wasn't sort of the same almost revanchism, or however you pronounce it, this desire, this sacred quest to get this territory from the Austrians. And so if this territory had been given or offered to Italy as perhaps a enticement to join the war on the side of the Central Powers, things may have worked out very differently. And I believe when I played as Austria-Hungary in my game, I can't remember if we gave the territory to them or not. In our game, the AI did. They just gave this territory up. However, in doing that, they really pissed off their own people. They caused the morale in the Austro-Hungarian army to plummet, and we are now seeing the very real effects of that on the national morale bar up top, where they lost like 30 national morale to do it. So it comes with a cost. And so when you play as the Central Powers, you have to keep that in mind. When you play as the Allies, Italy joining the Central Powers would be really bad, so we'll have to see if they do. I thought I changed the scripts a bit to make it a little more likely. So that could be really difficult for us, and we've started positioning troops in the south of France to deal with that. But in the event that they stay neutral, that hit to the Austro-Hungarians, maybe, taking the leg out from their ability to be resilient in this conflict, and could very well accelerate the fall of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. We can see their morale is plummeting as is, and that's going to impact the readiness and effectiveness of their troops, and could give us a really big advantage as we get into the summer campaigning season of 1915. That's enough of me rambling, though. So just as a reminder, this was taken from a Twitch live stream on my Twitch channel. Link in the description if you're interested in joining us. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into the game. Okay. Well, we at least crippled this enemy unit here, the 9th Austro-Hungarian Corps, if we didn't destroy it. Meanwhile, these guys are pretty cut off. Got him. All right, destroyed another Austro-Hungarian Corps. That's good for us. Swing east here. We could drive south toward the Romanian border. I wonder if that would get them in on our side. Meanwhile, I'll destroy that one Austro-Hungarian heavy artillery unit there. See if we can't crush this lone German unit on the flank. Well, we didn't destroy it, but we did push it back into open ground. Alright, so in theory we're threatening Debrecen. Let's reinforce this artillery unit to full strength. Alright, reinforcing our front line here in Poland to try and hold out against the Germans. They're obviously much stronger than us at the moment. A limited counteroffensive against them destroys one of their cores. Can we... Alright, so they've dug in very heavily along the Königsberg line. And there's a fortress between us and them. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to get at Königsberg without going through very heavy entrenchments. But I could free up some of these troops here to swing west to reinforce our position there. And again, we did destroy one German corps on this front this turn. Their strength continues to increase though, which I'm kind of alarmed at. Like, where, if they aren't making money, where are they getting this strength from? Alright, so we crippled 2 German corps. Well, we destroyed one and crippled one. We'll see how much strength they have to throw against us here. Alright, so I think we'll take this corps that we just reinforced at Memel and rail it west. No. We're really vulnerable south of Radom here. We're also vulnerable up near Warsaw. But a lot of these German units have taken casualties. I'm not too worried about the Austrian units on the offensive, to be honest. I'm also hopeful that because we destroyed these units over here in front of Grosswarden, that they may rail some reinforcements to reinforce this line here, because we are basically out into the plain of Hungary. Okay. We'll have to see. Again, I'm really not certain how that's going to play out. On the Western Front, meanwhile, this BEF Corps got shattered pretty good. We'll reinforce, but that's going to kill their experience. Reinforce our artillery there. Okay. 206 left, or 203 left for the French this turn. We're researching industrial. Let's bump some into production tech. We're already researching infantry weapons, command and control. Let's also bump some into infantry warfare. And then reinforce that core back up to full strength. For the British, let's get some troops on transports and bring them into the front. Okay. Well, we encountered some enemy mines. Curious what the enemy fleet situation looks like. I wouldn't mind an engagement with them to hurt the German national morale a bit. Okay. Alright, the US has 110 now, so for research, does that mean we can dump it into industrial Yeah, industrial technology for the US. We're going to research that. Serbia has no money. Shit. Well, they have money, but not enough for diplomacy for the US. They do have enough money for diplomacy with Bulgaria, but I wonder if it's worth the chit. Can we purchase anything with the Serbians? We don't have enough money there. The British have to deploy some artillery now. And some airships. Man, I'm just stunned at how little money you have to do anything in this game. I didn't notice that playing as the Germans. I guess it was because I wasn't really aggressive with them. I kind of just let the... I didn't do a lot of research, I guess. Hell yeah, just destroyed another German corps. Anything to tick those casualties up a bit, knock their morale down a bit. And I know we took some casualties doing it, but gotta keep the German army in check a little bit. They've got, their ranks are too deep everywhere along the damn line, so... These French troops may be a little exposed, the third corps there. I don't think I have the strength to attack anywhere else. We'll consider it next turn. We do have a fresh corps here. One coming online up here. Might be worth trying to go after more enemy units, destroying them. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't lose the third corps up at Bologna. Which means we really should pull this Marine unit back. Move these guys in at least temporarily and entrench. Okay. I think that's it for them. We did the Russian front, right? Did we do the Caucasus front? I don't think we did yet. Okay. So we badly shot up the Angora detachment in the Ottoman Empire. Let's move. Okay, so we badly shot up 2 Ottoman detachments and drove them back on the Caucasus front. Not too strong a formation that we're dealing with there, but we did some damage. A lot of young Turks that won't be old Turks. Perhaps. Can we get like some war bonds going or something? Give me more money, guys. Really. All right, so that's going to do it, I think, for this turn. You know, I keep forgetting to use recon. It's kind of an important thing on some of these attacks, especially if we're going to use artillery, but... all right, so that's going to do it for this turn. We'll do one more tonight. So we'll go ahead and end the turn. We're going to be moving into May of 1915 and see how things play out. I'm assuming the Axis is going to, or the Germans or Central Powers are going to continue their aggressive actions against us here. Russian heavy artillery deploys in the Caucasus. Huzzah. Charlie Chaplin star. Ooh. That's some strong scotch, man. Bread rationing begins in Germany as baking cakes is forbidden. George von Trapp begins his career as an Austro-Hungarian U-boat ace. Austria-Hungary had U-boat aces? Pancho Villa's defeated at the Battle of... I clicked through it. Scientists report progress in fighter development for the UK. UK develops industrial technology level 1. Yes! Scientists report industrial technology development in France. Yes! 100%, so they go to level 1. Infantry weapons for the Russians are making some progress. That's good. And hopefully we see a nice little bump for our economy for these guys. And we can just invest that back in the economy and get our economies rolling here. All right, so some German destroyers are coming out to play against our subs there. Some Austro-Hungarian subs coming after us. Austro-Hungarian troops on the Serbian front, meanwhile, reinforcing. Some German troops railing in toward Debrecen, just as I had suspected they might. But in a sense, that's a good thing. What? Naval mines where? Did the German Navy just go after the Russians? Looked like something collided with some naval mines, but I couldn't see what. Oh, shit. The German fleet! It's attempting to come after the Russians! I mean, we're all safely in port, but there's no reason they couldn't use these naval vessels to launch an amphibious invasion somewhere along our very vulnerable coast. Whole bunch of airships, a little bit of artillery moving around here. They're trying to drive a wedge in here. I mean, the troops south of Ivangrad seem to be very vulnerable. The Germans are having a good time with them in that terrain. Meanwhile, it looks like they're actually going to focus on the Belgian detachment here. They can definitely destroy it if they wish. Yep, there they go. The last element of the Belgian army is gone. But the good news for us is they didn't attack the British corps that had reinforced that turn and was pretty vulnerable. Austro-Hungarian, or Ottoman cavalry here hits one of our detachments in the Caucasus. Austro-Hungarian attacks against our, is that a Montenegrin or a Serbian detachment near Mostar? A lot of troop movements so far this turn. Not a ton of attacks so far this turn. Might be speaking too soon. Oh, I forgot about the rebellion in Morocco. Not that I have any troops there to do anything about it. I guess I could deploy the troops in southern France preparing to meet Italy in the event they go to war with us. So far, Italy's at 0%, though, so I suppose an event could just trigger it so that they join the war on the other side, but... DeBeerzapin, thank you very much for the follow. All right, so that was kind of a not super eventful turn. Kind of felt like maybe the Central Powers were using the turn to reinforce. Kitty Iowa, I don't know why, but it doesn't show you as a follow. Had you followed in the past, perhaps? Rip to the last elements of the Belgian army. All right, can we... Okay, so they destroyed that unit, so we'll move these British troops in here and entrench them. Two sides should be good. Reinforce these troops that are on the front line there. Just make sure all of our frontline troops are at full strength. I don't think I'm going to be attacking on the West Front this turn. I don't really see a lot of good opportunities for any particular successful attacks. So we'll hold in place there. I guess these guys should dig trenches too, right? Just so they're max dug in. Oh, did we research entrenchment level 2 for the French? Well, it doesn't look like it, but it did say level of entrenchment 2. I wonder if it's just because of the ground they're on. Not sure. Alright, so these... I mean, I'd love to retake Belgrade. Holy shit, we just wiped out that Austro-Hungarian core. Hell yeah, brother. Charcoal, if you're listening, I'm totally stealing your saying, if you will. Not that it's, you know, exclusive to you. Alright, so perhaps being a little bit over-aggressive again on the Serbian front, but we did just wipe out one Austro-Hungarian corps, and we almost wiped out a second. Alright, move these guys forward. Okay. I mean, we could pull these Marines and move them into Serbia. That might not be a bad idea. Nice. A 1-4 on these troops. I'll take a 1-3 there. We didn't even lose anything on that attack. Alright, so we just wiped out a German corps in Austria. I'll swing on south of my cavalry toward Hammerstadt, which links us up with Romania. I gotta think that's gonna drive Romania into our arms. So I mean, we've kind of broken into the plain of Hungary here. We're not that far away from threatening the capital of Hungary. I'll attack this German court. Feels a little bit out there and exposed. Alright, let's pull this guy back. Move these troops south. Finish that core off. It does look like the Germans may have level 2 entrenchments now. It looks like they've got multiple layers of trenches there, perhaps. Which could be a problem for us. Alright, they've broken through in the south. We'll have to swing these troops south. Just try and stem the tide. Meanwhile, the troops in these entrenchments are going to stay there. Reinforce troops on that front. Pull these troops south in the event the Germans do break through. Okay. Really want to wipe out this enemy core, but it's likely going to get one of my own cores destroyed. Still, I feel like the national morale benefit might be worth it. Okay, I'm going to try and isolate these German troops near the Masurian Lakes. We'll see. I'm kind of positioning myself between two enemy forces. So that's not always the best thing to do. But I am at least cutting their supply off. They'll have no rail line here. So unless the Germans advance from their trench line near Allenstadt, which is defending Königsberg, then we may be able to wipe out the 1st Reserve Corps and the Ruhr-Landstrom detachment. Take Kronstadt and you'll probably get Romania on your side. Oh, over here? Yeah, maybe. And I'll advance that headquarter unit. Will that help supply? A little bit. So we'll see if our cavalry can swing back toward Kronstadt next turn, and again, maybe Romania will join us. If Romania joins us, I don't know if that'll trigger Bulgaria to join the war or not, but it will add a serious threat to the Austro-Hungarian flank. This unit is just asking to die, by the way. Only 4 left. And it would invite a counteroffensive up to Lemberg. I don't have the spare units to deal with it either. Alright, so we nearly destroyed the König Albert Dreadnought with our own Dreadnought. An expensive proposition to be sure. Can I get my own pre-Dreadnought up here? No! Shit. Shit. God damn it. Well, he's dead. Unless... do I have any destroyers? destroyer back here? I do. So let's do this. Pull these guys back. How do I get him out of there? Like, what's the best? I could pull him up to port, but I still need that destroyer to lay mines here. I guess it's better that a destroyer gets hit, right? Better to lose a destroyer than a dreadnought. I was hoping I could finish off the König Albert, but it looks like that won't be the case. Would have been a big national morale hit to the Germans if we could have destroyed one of their battleships. Yeah, it looks like they have deployed with more or less their full fleet against us. Alright, what does Russia have left money-wise? 150, no, 70 right now. So we're trying to cut off the troops near the Masurian Lakes. Let's also go down to the Caucasus and see what we've got brewing down here. So we've got... These troops are marching against them. Deal some punishment to these. Alright, so reinforcing our troops on the Russian front. We did badly shoot up an enemy cavalry corps and drove back another Ottoman detachment. So their assault on the Caucasus is not going well so far. I haven't really tried to use my navy against them yet. Curious what might be out there. How do I set it to use recon? What do I do here? Does anybody know? I don't want to sail it around and not have any movement points yet. But I do want to tell these boys to fly. I mean, I don't know what to do with them. Alright, so there's no ships there. Presumably they're at Constantinople, but I guess I can't get through to look at them. Alright, the Serbians have a stupid amount of money right now for the Serbians anyway. So I guess we might as well try and purchase a cavalry division, maybe? I mean, like, I suppose if we think they might survive, infantry weapons might be the way to go. So we'll do that, I suppose. Meanwhile, the loss of another corps to the Austro-Hungarians should be a bit of a blow. They're down to 29 units. I don't know that I want to attack this German unit near Debrecen. If I could strike with the 3 corps, I would. The real problem is Lemberg is very lightly held. I don't think they'll break through on the line there anywhere. So I could pull these guys back. Just in case they attack out and they try and lash out of Premzel. Yeah, the Germans definitely have entrenchment tech level 2. That's going to make things more difficult. Where are we at in terms of our research? Russia is at trench level 1, or no, 0. Sorry, they're at trench level 1. We're investing in level 2, or level 1, but we're not very far along the way. We are getting pretty good progress in infantry weapons. That'll help. So that kind of sucks. Meanwhile, on the British side of things, let's go down to Egypt. Interesting. Well, let's crush this Ottoman Corps if I can. Indian offensive! Got him! Now stay behind your entrenchments, boys. Alright, we'll bring the artillery up for support. We did lose some casualties with the Anzac boys, but we destroyed the first Ottoman corps that they've lost anyway in battle. El Arish is their graveyard. Kittybrain.exe. What? You know, I don't know if it puts me in a dangerous position or not. Like, the problem with my ships is that they're not good. Like, I don't have a strong enough fleet. The German fleet is vastly superior to the Russian fleet. That's why I'm not really trying to engage them. And it's a big national morale hit to lose ships. So I tried to engage them. My Gagnaut Dreadnought took a huge hit. I mean, we lost 70% of that battleship. We did inflict 60% against the König. We then had the Peter Walisky engage and reduced it further down to 2. But then when we tried to move in the Pallada armored cruiser to knock out the Dreadnought, then there was a German Dreadnought adjacent to it, the Rhineland, which lent its assistance and nearly sank the armored cruiser. So now I've got a destroyer here that's kind of just chilling out, hopefully not going to get sunk. And I laid some mines to try and protect me from further advances by the enemy. Can I get the Brits over? I mean, realistically, probably not. That's... I don't know. Will Whatever and Drew Marsh 07, thanks for the follows. Does make me wonder what the enemy might have. I mean, we could try it, I suppose. I don't really want to abandon the blockade against Germany. That will not be ideal, so we'll have to try and replace our ships on station here. We'll kind of abandon the distant blockade, I suppose. Yeah, he's probably got a lot of mines in the Danish Straits. But maybe we'll catch a portion of the fleet. Maybe they haven't deployed the whole fleet there. Okay. Alright, so we've still got the... blockade covered, at least the close-in blockade. Okay, so what else are we doing for money, or for our troops this turn? Reinforce them. I guess since I'm not investing anything this turn, we might as well bring some troops across the channel. The French have 217 left. All the troops are reinforced on the front line. Presumably the enemy's going to launch some offensives against us, but we'll reinforce some of the reserve troops. It's a good opportunity to get everybody up to strength. Probably a better, perhaps, opportunity to invest in purchasing some new unit types. But at least all of our first and second line troops are reinforced here. So if the enemy does try and break through, we'll have an answer. Can I dribble spot Central Powers shipping in the North Sea? Dirigible spot? I mean, it doesn't really kind of work that way. Basically, if you keep ships on the blockade line, then that affects their commerce over time. So I've got troops on those hexes, or units. I've got some hexes on the distant blockade as well. These two blockade lines stack, so the more units you have here, it also sort of adds benefit to these units. And so over time, the Germans begin to sort of slowly starve. Now, I have pulled a good number of units off the distant blockade, so I don't know how that will affect the overall blockade effectiveness, but I'm assuming it won't be too dramatic, given the fact that we'll still maintain a full blockade on the near blockade. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up here. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. We're continuing to see the Austro-Hungarian morale steadily decline. They're in some serious trouble. We haven't really been able to get at the Ottomans yet, and we are deploying some naval vessels here into the North Sea, or actually in toward the coast of Germany, south of Dodger Bank, in an effort perhaps to destroy a couple of light German naval units, while the bulk of their heavy fleet seems to be deployed to the Baltic. Meanwhile, on the Serbian front, things are going pretty well. The Austrians are pulling troops away from the attack, so we're actually solidifying our position there. Although the question begins to come, are we at risk of Bulgaria jumping in and trying to come in behind us and take Serbia from the rear? Meanwhile, we are getting close to enticing Romania to enter the war, and so I'm really hopeful that we're going to be able to do that in the near future. But those will be all things that we'll figure out in our next episode. Until our next episode, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.